Good morning, Ms. Masati.
Good morning, Ms. Mary.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Last week, we focused on utilizing clear what to do directions when outlining the steps that scholars should take when executing routines. I noticed how you met your goal when you scripted out clear, concise instructions together by scripting out word for word exactly what you planned to say. I also noticed that you checked for understanding before the practice to ensure that students were clear on the steps that they need to take to demonstrate mastery. What was the impact on student learning?
So the impact that it had on student learning, one, the students were able to tell the steps. Number two, they were able to do the steps. Then number three, they were able to tell and do the steps even if you're not around.
Thank you, Ms. Matlakte. Today we will focus on utilizing the strong voice strategy. I will be the teacher and you will be the student. I will model utilizing a strong voice when teaching and redirecting scholars. As you observe my model, I would like for you to reflect on the following prompts. What did you notice about my tone as I taught the lesson and redirected off-task behavior? What did you notice about my body language as I taught the lesson and redirected off-task behavior? What did you notice about the words that I used as I taught the lesson and redirected off-task behavior? What is the value in communicating leadership with your body language? Scholars. A mini lesson takes place on the carpet, and it is a secret time for us to learn and prepare ourselves for university. During a mini lesson, we sit in style. Watch me as I model how to sit in style. Matlati, eyes please. Legs crisscrossed. Bum flat on the carpet. Hands in bows. Track the speaker and ask questions. Bodies are calm. Friend, your eyes are on me the entire time. Friend, your eyes are still tracking me. We remain at a voice level 0 unless the teacher tells you to speak. When you want to ask a question, you raise a quiet hand like this. Thank you for fixing it, friend. What do you notice about my tone as I taught the lesson and redirected off-task behavior? What do you notice about my body language as I taught the lesson and redirected off-task behavior? These are the questions that we are looking at. What do you notice about the words that I used as I taught the lesson and redirected off-task behavior? And what is the impact of incorporating this practice strategy into our practice?
Okay, can you just read the point as you
Okay. How would you describe the sound of my voice?
Okay, so the sound of your voice was strong, right? Then it was very decisive. It knew what it wanted from the scholars.
How did I make it clear to scholars with my voice that I was serious about expectations as I taught them?
You used a strong voice, and then your voice was matching all the modeling that you're doing with your body.
Yes, my tone was formal. It was clear to scholars that I was serious about the directions that I was giving to them. What did you notice about my movement as I instructed the class?
Okay, so your movements you were modeling what the scholars are supposed to do. So your movements were calm, your movements were not forceful, and then you're displaying exactly what you wanted from the scholars.
Okay. So what did I do when I was giving it a redirection?
So what you did when you were giving a redirection, you told the scholars to track you the entire time. So the scholars were tracking you, so they had their eyes on you. Then you said, so I don't know what you said. Then you said as well that you track the teacher the entire time. So you trace track the teacher so that the scholars are able to ask and answer questions and their voice level 0.
Yes, so adding on what you have said, when I was giving instructions, I was striking a formal pose. So let's look at the third one. What do you notice about the words that I used as I taught the lesson and redirected off task?
Okay, so the words that you're using, okay, for one, they were giving clear instruction. Number two, they were friendly, so they were not scaring any scholars away. And then number three, the words that they were using were saying precisely what you wanted from the scholars.
Okay, so when we are putting it in a strong voice language, we would say I used economy of language instead of saying the words were precise. We would say I used economy of language when I was giving directions. So I gave simple steps that are easy for scholars to remember. Okay. So what is the impact of incorporating this practice or strategy into our practice?
Can you repeat the question again?
Okay. What is the impact of incorporating this strategy into our practice?
Okay, so the impact of incorporating the strategy into our practice is that number one, this is the strong voice that we're focusing on. Number one, using economy of words. So as you use economy of words, it does not confuse the scholar, so they know exactly what you want from them. Number two, you're striking a formal pose. For you to be sitting up ready and showing formal pose, then it automatically tells me that I need to look like you in the start. So I need to be ready the entire time. At the same time as me being ready, I am keeping calm and I'm relaxed and I'm checking, keeping my eyes on me the entire time so that we can engage properly.
Okay, so just adding on what you have said, scholars are also more likely to follow instructions when the strategy is used and will therefore be better able to grasp what is being taught or what is being said. Okay, so how was the model different from what you did in class?
Okay, the model was different in a way that you used more of a formal voice. You strike a pose, a formal pose. And then you kept redirecting behavior. So if you saw someone off task and not tracking you called the scholar to track you the entire time.
So I'm also going to repeat the gap to you. It's adding on what you have said. So the scholars were making funny sounds on the carpet, and it took you several times to get them to comply, and you ended up talking over scholars. Okay, so based on what we discussed today, what do you think your action steps should be?
Okay, my action steps, I must go back and focus on the strong voice strategy. Okay, so I must try and use more of a formal tone most of the time. I must use economy of words. I must be able to redirect the scholars and not talk over the scholars, but then what I can do is just wait until everyone is calm or use an attention grabber, then you continue with what we are doing. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, so your action step today is utilize the strong voice strategy when giving instructions. You are going to do the spy, square up, and stand still when giving instructions, which is striking a formal pose. Use a formal register when providing instructions. Use economy of language when giving instructions. Can you please restate the action steps back to me?
Okay, so the steps that I need to do is to square up and stand up straight. I'm striking a formal pose, using a formal register. I lost it.
When providing instructions?
When providing instructions, and can you please remind me the last one?
Use economy of
Use
language.
economy of language.
Okay.
Use economy of language. I struggle with that.
Okay, so let's write them down. Okay. So where would be a good place to implement this in your upcoming lessons?
And where will it be a good place? Like which lesson we can? Okay, so we can still use this during routines and procedures, my IRA lesson, my math lesson, during lunch breaks as well, and toilet breaks.
Okay. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to write down what you will say. Let's script out the steps that the scholars should follow during lunch. Remember, the new routine states that scholars have to remove their masks and place them in the brown paper bag before they eat. Remember to refer to the how of your action steps as you craft the plan. After you write the plan, we will review it together, and then you will engage in a role play where you will have the opportunity to utilize the remaining action steps. So I'm just setting the timer for 5 minutes, and you are scripting down what you want to say. looks like we are done, Ms. McClatchy. Okay, let's review the plan. Did you utilize economy of language as effectively as when you split it down out the steps?
Yes.
Is there a way to simplify the language further? Okay, Mr. Platin. So you are going to find a space and practice individually for 2 minutes. You should whisper read your script while practicing. So I'm setting the timer for 2 minutes. So you can stand there. Step over there and then try practicing.
Sanitize your hands, remove mask from the ear using ear loops. Place mask in the brown packet, still holding onto the ear loops. Put the brown bag on the corner of your table. Sit and stash, wait for your food to be given to you at a voice level 0. If you have lunch already, eat your lunch at a voice level 0. Okay, sanitize, put on your mask after lunch, sanitize your hands and stand and sanitize your hands. Okay, remove your mask from the brown packet using your ear loops. Put on your mask using your ear loops. Take your brown bag, put it in your Ziploc bag, and you sit in star, waiting for the next instruction. I think I'm
Okay, Mr. Platin, let's take it back. You will be the teacher and I will be the student. You will keep the 3 actions steps front of mind as you deliver your instruction. I will display off-task behavior a few times and you will redirect me.
Okay, so these are the steps for before or during lunch. When you remove our mask, this name, this check, see that? Then have your hands and stuff, something like that. Thank you. So number 1, you sanitize your hands. Number 2, remove mask from the ear loops. Place the mask in your brown packet. Put the brown packet at the corner of your table. 5, sit and stop. Wait for the lunch to be given to you. Still keep sitting and stop. Put your hands on top of the table. Then, if you have your food, you will eat your lunch at a voice level 0.
It was effective when you used economy of language. You squared up and stood still as you were sharing the steps. Your tone was formal and exuded confidence and seriousness. It would be better if you ensure that you stand still while you are redirecting. Keep your body language formal the entire time. Maintain a formal tone the entire time when you're speaking, especially when you started redirecting me. It felt like you were still continuing with the lesson. So it should be Nelly, ask. Okay, so we are going to try it again. So we are going to implement the feedback that I have given you. We are doing round 2. And I will be giving you real-time feedback as you are modeling.
Okay, so we'll be doing the steps before or during lunch, removing masks. Sit and start. Have your hands on top of the table. Eyes and tie. 1. Sanitize your hands. 2. Remove masks from the ear loops. Keep your eyes on everything tie. Keep your hands.
Okay, let's start. Be a student. We are going to demonstrate off-task behavior. Try it maybe outside the room. Sanitize your hands. Remove your brown pocket using the eyes. And then the next part is you are going to remove your mask from the loops, and then ensuring that and then let's try it. So remember, I want to make sure that scholars are following the direction.
So these are the steps for before or during lunch. Maybe. Technique. Sit and stop. 1. You sanitize your hands. 2. Remove the mask from the ear loops. 3. Place the mask in a brown packet.
Okay. Let's try fixing my facial expression. So the third time around now it's like so it's like you are moving to agent. Now your face is like hey. So we want to ensure that we are still using a formal register. Okay, let's say you are doing it for the first time. Let's go. You start by sanitizing your hands. Eyes. The second step is for you to remove your mask like this, ensuring that you are holding it by your loop, and then ensuring that you are taking it inside your brown paper. We are still sitting in star. Our bodies up straight and our eyes are tracking the teacher. Okay, then the third step is you take your mask and put it in your chair base. Thank you for fixing it, scholars.
So we are going to be doing the steps that we need to practice. Maybe sit up, upright and stop. Your hands on the table, then tight, eyes checking me. Number 1, you sanitize your hands. Maybe, eyes on me. Good job. 2, remove the mask from the ear loops, place it in your brown bag. 3, take your brown bag, put it in your chair bag. 4, yes, that was 4, put it in your chair bag. 5, sit and start the entire time. And I hope you're all sitting and start. Sit and start the entire time.
Let's start there. Remember, Nelly has fixed it now. We are getting it. Nelly has fixed it. Nelly is already sitting in star. Again, you wanna acknowledge it. Thank you for fixing it. Even if you don't say thanks, thank you, scholars, for fixing it. And then your eye contact is still on me. Okay, so let's fix that.
Yeah. 4, put your brown bag put your brown bag inside your chair bag. Thank you, scholars, for fixing your stars. Then 5, sit and start as you wait for your food, or if you have lunch in front of you, eat your food at voice level 0.
It's the point. Now Now that we have practiced, are there any additional action steps?
I think body acknowledging when someone has done right. Like I tend to forget that, so acknowledging that maybe a certain stuff, I think that's an action step that needs to take place. Standing formally, so body language. So I think my tone is not matching my body. So body language needs to, that's the next action step that I should look at. My body language.
So body language, especially checking in with facial expressions.
Yes.
Okay. So when can I come in and see? When can I come in? When can I come in to see with this? When can I come in to observe you doing this? I will give you the following visual real-time feedback cue. So let's start by when can I come in to observe it?
Okay, so you can come Monday during math.
Okay. So I'll come Monday during math and I will give you the following visual real-time feedback cues. I will exaggerate squaring up and standing still. I will point to my mouth to remind you to use a strong voice. I will use a gesture with scissors when it is as a reminder to use economy of language. So I'll come next week Monday to observe.
No words.